Welcome back guys. In this video I'll be testing Stalker Part 2 on my Windows PC that has a Ryzen 5700X 3D processor and an RTX 2070 Super GPU. I'll be testing the PC Gamepass version of the game. It's an open world survival horror game. First Stalker game in 15 years since the release of Stalker Call of Pripyat. The game uses Unreal Engine 5, officially supports FSR 3.1 frame generation. This means we can use DLSS, XeSS or FSR Upscaler in conjunction with FSR frame generation. I have already done my testing. This game's performance is disappointing. The camp zones are populated by non-playable characters and are more demanding than the open world areas. On my PC with Ryzen 5700X 3D processor, even when using the low preset game running at Full HD resolution, FPS was within a range of 50 to 60. In specific areas, FPS dropped down to as low as 40. Yes, you heard it right. The game is fairly new, so I am expecting its performance to improve in the near future via updates. Some mods are already available for it, claiming to improve the game's performance. You can always try them out. Before jumping into the gameplay, I would like to thank Keymailer and Xbox for providing me with a free monthly subscription of PC Game Pass for the purpose of reviewing games. This subscription gives us access to hundreds of games. We can play these games for as long as we want until our subscription expires. We also get a small discount on some games being sold on Microsoft Store. EA Play membership is also included with PC Game Pass subscription. In India, Microsoft even supports UPI mode of payment on Xbox Store. Stalker 2 comes with DLSS version 3.7. I'll just update it manually to version 3.8. Just download the Upscaler's latest DLL file from Tech Powerhouse website. I'll give its link in the description. Click on download here. Now just click on any of these servers. Download will start. There's the Upscaler's archive file. Open it. Copy this DLL file. Now open the games install directory. Open Xbox PC app, select Stalker 2, click on the three dots right next to play button, then click on manage, click on files, click on browse here. This will open the games install directory. Open Stalker 2 folder, open content folder, open engine folder, open plugins folder, open marketplace, open DLSS, open binaries, open third party. Open Win64, paste the DLL file here, overwrite the existing file. DLSS version 3.8 uses preset E by default. If you have an RTX based GPU, just make sure hardware accelerated GPU scheduling setting is enabled. Right click anywhere in the desktop area. Now click on display settings, click on graphics settings, click on change default graphics settings and enable hardware accelerated GPU scheduling setting from here. If your monitor supports variable refresh rate, enable the setting from here as well. Now I'll enable Vsync from Nvidia control panel. Click on manage 3D settings, click on program settings. From this drop down bar, select the exe file corresponding to Stalker 2. Now scroll down to the end, enable Vsync from here. Click on setup G-Sync. My monitor supports Vsync Premium, it's G-Sync compatible. Enable these settings, enable G-Sync, G-Sync compatible. Enable for full screen mode, enable settings for the selected display model. Make sure you're using the latest GPU driver for your GPU. It's driver version 566.14 optimized for Stalker 2. I have installed the game on an SSD. This game size is around 155 GB. Shaders will get compiled whenever you launch the game. The first run will be longer than the subsequent runs. In-game graphics setting using the low preset. First I'll run the game without frame generation, motion plus 10 set to nil. Upscaler DLSS using its quality preset. Frame generation disabled. Display settings, resolution full HD. Vsync disabled. Game supports Nvidia Reflex enabled. Helps in reducing the latency. That's it. I'll straight away load a very demanding area, zone of Zalissya. You can see my FPS is capped at 225. My monitor supports up to 240 Hz refresh rate. This means Nvidia Reflex is working. We are standing at the entrance of Zalissya. Here FPS is around 42 to 49. So disappointing. We're not hitting the GPU bottleneck, 89% GPU load. So CPU performance seems to be the limiting factor. Say evening time. This game features a dynamic weather cycle. This is the cam zone that I was talking about, way more demanding than the open world areas. This is Ryzen 5700X 3D processor. VRAM usage here is around 6.2 GB. Graphics are looking pretty average. We are using the low preset after all, so I won't complain about the graphics with this preset. Image quality is looking decent. Not observing any texture shimmering around the wires. Some shimmering can be observed around the wires in the far off background. Can you see these wires? Some texture shimmering is going on here, but the wires that are closer to me are not exhibiting any texture shimmering. And look at the weather changing. So very disappointed by the game's performance in the cam zone. Okay, so I'll just increase a few settings now. Set the preset to medium, texture quality to high. Rest of the settings are left as this. I'll just reload the game. We are in. Load the same sequence. FPS is around 40. Not hitting the GPU bottleneck. Even with these settings, CPU is the limiting factor. So instead of using the low preset, just use the medium preset with texture quality set to high on RTX 2070 Super GPU. Roughly the same performance. Yeah, gameplay is a bit choppy. 40 FPS. Oh my god. VRAM usage is around 6.5 GB. I'll just head to Zalissya bar, trigger a cutscene. Keep an eye on the VRAM usage. It's going to increase rapidly. Frame generation effect gets disabled during cutscenes in this game.
I'm looking for solder. Nope. Talk to Gaffer. That's him over there.
36 FPS during cutscene.
What do you want?
I'll just enable FSR frame generation now, still using DLSS Upscaler. Standing at the entrance of Zalissya, FPS increased to around 80. I can observe the added amount of smoothness. Frame generation is doing a decent job. Frame pacing graph is mostly a flat line now. Can also observe a slight increase in latency. Reflex is doing a decent job of countering the additional latency caused by FSR frame generation. Look at that GPU usage now, all maxed out. I'm observing some graphical artifacts around the bottom edge of the display. Some textures are flickering. Visible, see? Game's HUD elements are not flickering. Usage is around 6.5 GB. People are chilling. Not impressed by the lighting effect of a flashlight. Barely illuminates any area. Now I'll test the game in an open world area, less demanding than the cam zone. Using the same settings, first I'll disable frame generation. It's the daytime. A range of 50 to 60. I can see some white dots flickering on the display. I think it's due to the radiation effect.
Come on, spill it, chump.
Our weapons can get jammed. Don't want to rush in. Shooting continuously increases the risk of a weapon getting jammed. Collect the loot.
Cover me. I gotta move.
Okay, I'll just enable frame generation now. Frame generation on. FPS increased to around 100. GPU is maxed out. Game is running smoothly now. Crosshair is not flickering. Just restore my health. Use my shotgun. Turn on the flashlight. Reload at the worst possible time. Bleeding. That guy had to reload. So 90 to 100 FPS. Here's the guy I was looking for.
Well, who sent
That's
you?
it with the video, guys. I hope you find it useful. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.
No one sent me.